everybody, and welcome to the Get More Sports World Tour Soccer Podcast. Oh, the sound of the vuvuzela. You know that means it's time for some soccer to be taking place. Of course, you know what? Not just because it's soccer, because football. And boy, it's so much going on. It's amazing. Leagues getting started here pretty quick out in Europe, and of course the MLS, North American Soccer League, are in full form, and Europa League and Champions League qualifying is going on. I mean, if you're looking for some football games, you can find them. They're all over the place, and it's a fantastic time of year. Of course, when August starts to roll around, it's time. I mean, European leagues are getting all sorts of prepared. Changes all over the place, and certainly want to discuss some of what's going on there. Of course, Bologna, Carpi, and Frosinone are going to join Serie A this year in Italy, and of course, I'm more than looking forward to another successful betting season around Italy. Serie B is also always has my attention. I love that league. So many people recognize me, and I think I've talked about it before here on the Get More Sports Pod. We're early in the early, way back. Oh, boy, it's amazing we've been doing the show here for a few months now. It's pretty great. I hope everybody's enjoying the show here. Of course, I'm EJ Carr, and boy, like I mentioned, with Italy, it's amazing. July 27th, about 5 days away from actually finding out the schedule itself. It'll certainly be out here in about 5 days. That's fantastic, and we do know the season's going to start August 23rd. And we'll run through May 15th. And Coppa Italia, of course, gets started August 2nd here with the final on May 22nd. And the Coppa Italia is always interesting as well. I love the Coppa Italia. Only a couple of weeks away from that. And it's amazing. Amazing. All the league cups are going to be getting started soon around. But, of course, Premier League in England is certainly coming quick. It begins August 8th. Of course, we know Bournemouth and Watford and Norwich are up in top flight this season, so we have some changes, of course. Bundesliga, August 14th. We have Darmstadt and Ingolstadt coming up this year as the two new clubs that are going to be with the league. That's fantastic stuff. Of course, there's only 18 teams in Germany, and can't wait for that. And Spanish La Liga, also August 23rd, is the same as Serie A in Italy, with Las Palmas, Betis and Guion up in top flight this year. That would be interesting to see how they fare out. Of course, things didn't work out all that well for Eibar last year. That's amazing they didn't get sent down. Of course, we know what happened there and why they weren't sent down, although they should have been. And, of course, there's always something going on around one of these leagues. And, so Eibar found a way to stay up in top flight, and we all know what happened last year with them. Man, did I ride their losing streak at the second half of the campaign last year. If you look at all my previews at Diamond Sportsbook over the course of the season last year, man, let's fade Eibar again. And let's fade Eibar some more. And all they did was pay us. So, you know what? Hey, if you stink and we know it, good enough. But, all right, so, you're all caught up in what's going on in Italy. And, of course, England, Germany, and Spain, and of course, everything around Europe is getting started too. But not many people get into the rest of the European leagues, especially when it comes to betting. The four big leagues are the profile leagues that everyone recognizes, of course. And but for now, Europa League. It's the best when you look at the schedule and you open the board and you see just a mound's worth of games to go over. That's just the best. It's intimidating at the same time because you're like, all right, how the hell am I going to take the time to look into all these teams? So, you know what? That's why I'm here. And one of the best things about that is
you are now listening to Rainmaker.
And it is time to make it rain. So let's talk about some of the matches going here in Europa League. This all takes place tomorrow. And Inter Baku, of course, they took a 3-0 win in the first leg in Iceland over Hafnarfjordur, and now they return home a measly minus 125 on the three-way line for Baku to finish the job. I think minus 125 is a pretty reasonable line here for Baku to figure out. You take a 3-1 victory on the road and you return home, I don't see how they can lose this match. Iceland club is just not going to be able to walk in there and really get much done in Azerbaijan. So, I like Inter Baku at minus 125 on that three-way line there. They should be able to take him out and finish the job. Rosenborg, of course, they grabbed a 1-0 win in Iceland themselves last week over Reykjavik, and or I guess some people call it Reykjavik, however you want to pronounce it. I guess it depends on where you're from and what you prefer. But big win, and I see this match as a 2-1 win at home. Also at the very worst here, I'm taking this total. I move this total to 3 because I see it's a pretty reasonable -105, and Rosenborg's likely going to score that third goal themselves. I see a 3-1 score here for some reason. So, to see the total at 3 at only -105 there, that's fine with me. I'll let it be 2-1. You know what? That won't hurt me a bit. It won't hurt any of us a bit. So I certainly suggest that over 3 there. Aberdeen. Should I say it like Aberdeen? I'm not Scottish. Give me a break. I'm Italian. What do you want me to do? Of course, they threw out a three-goal performance a week ago in Croatia over Rijeka. I don't see how Rijeka is going to find a way to do anything. They're actually semi-favorite here to return the favor at +125, and Aberdeen is +255 at home. I love this over. When I see lines like that, and Aberdeen, you take a 3-goal victory, and now you're back home, and you're not favored, even remotely favored to win. +255 on the home side after a 3-goal road win. Oh, boy, something's going on. So, I'm taking that over 2.5 there at -110. It makes plenty of sense to me with Aberdeen and Rijeka. I see goals there. It's certainly a 2-1 match waiting to happen. So, and obviously Rijeka has to find a way to make up the 3-goal difference. So the only way you can do that is by scoring. What do you think? Last I heard, you can't make up a 3-goal differential if you don't know how to get the ball in the net. So let's see if those two can pull that off at -110 for the over 2.5. It's pretty reasonable there. I mean, Vojvodina and Spartaks, they're going to play their second leg in Latvia, and this total also has my eyes. Over 2.5 at -105. Vojvodina completely dominated that first leg, out shooting the Latvian side 15-4, with Spartaks only managing 2 shots on frame. It took an own goal at the end of regulation to actually hit that total the last time out, but I see that over 2.5 at -105 coming in. I expect them both to score, and I expect a 2-1 match there. So, last I heard, you have 2.5 on the board, and the match ends 2-1. You made your money. That is the whole point here, isn't it? Trakai and Lithuania got stomped 4-0 in Cyprus against Apollon. And, Apollon's only -110 or so to finish the job here and move on with a win of any type. 1-0, 2-0, I don't care what it is. Apollon certainly is going to be able to manage another win tomorrow. I don't see how they can't. I mean, they killed them. They killed them. They made them look pretty bad. So to see 4-0, and I actually only see a -110 on them to finish the job. Thanks for the price, Vegas. You guys are okay with me. Hey, what do you know? Debrecen played 2-over in the first leg with Skanto. Who'd have thunk that? Boy, I wish I had a show last week. For those who don't know, I'm doing all the Diamond Sportsbook college football team previews, and oh my God, I cannot tell you the time it's been taking me. I'm doing about 1,500 words a piece. About 80 teams altogether, and let's just say that's taken up a little bit of my time recently. You can probably figure it out. 1,500 words times 80. Some writing much? Yeah, that's what I've been doing. So, it's kind of taken most of my time here. I'm actually lucky to take care of this show this week. But I wasn't going to ignore it. I can't. I hate missing these shows because these shows are fantastic, and I love being here to get more sports. And last thing I want to do is leave everybody hanging, wondering where the hell that Rainmaker guy is. And so I'm here. Hope everyone's cool with that. And like I mentioned, Debrecen playing 2-over with Skanto. Yeah, what do you think? And now they're only asking $15 worth of juice to hit the over 2.5 again. Okay, thank you. My God, man, 2-2 in the first leg. What do you think's going to happen in the second leg? These two aren't going to score again. Really? Yeah, I'll pay the $15. Thanks. -115 for the over 2.5. Thanks. Sold. Put that on the board. You can. Put it on the board. Yes. Sorry, I had a Chicago White Sox moment there. Hajduk split. Lost 3-2 to Koper of Slovenia. In the first leg, I'm certainly buying this total up to 3. I'm going to move this total up to 3 to get to +120 on the price for my trouble, because Hajduk at home can certainly score, and Koper isn't exactly known for their defensive style of play either. So, when you play 3-2 the first leg, everyone knows what's going on here. It's pretty obvious to me. I think they can both find a way to put up a 2-1 match again. So I'm going to buy that total up to 3. I'm not going to pay any juice for the over 2.5 there. Why even bother with the juice? Just move it up to 3, get the plus 120. If they, if all they can do is manage a 2-1 result, then, like I said, good enough. I'd rather push it. I'd rather push the 3 to plus 120 than pay the minus 115 for the or minus 120 for the over 2.5. I mean, it's just sometimes you just got to do that kind of stuff. It's just return of investment is the most important thing that there is out there, at least for me. When you're talking about handicapping and doing sports, you better be paying attention to the return of investment. I mean, that's what it's all about. I think it's great that Jagiellonian and Ammonia played to a scoreless draw in the first leg, because now the line setters are offering even money on the handicap over 2 and 2.5. I'm sorry. I see goals there. The 2.5 is obviously just even better. I think it's like plus 130 or something like that for the over 2.5. But I like these little handicaps and a little bit of a safety net there. I mean, if they do play to a 1-1, that won't kill me. I don't mind losing half a bet here and there. I mean, I like that over 2 and 2.5. It's even money. Like I said, if they play to a 1-1, let them play to a 1-1. What harm is that really going to do anybody? You put $100 on it, you get your $50 back, and you just kind of walk away and go, well. But someone's going to find that third goal. I think it's fantastic that those two actually played to 0-0, because now the line setters are thinking, maybe they can't score against each other. Yeah, look at the history of those two and tell me that they can't score against each other. I think that 0-0 game was an absolute fluke. So, of course, the second leg, is much more emphasis, especially after a 0-0 performance the first time out. That puts so much more weight on the second leg, obviously. And I just don't see a 1-1 score there. Hopefully, hopefully they move on. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see 2-1 there, 2-2, something like that. That would certainly make my day. But again, that safety net in place with the over 2 and 2.5 on that handicap certainly makes some sense. AIK of Sweden, they're going to play their second leg in Armenia against Shirak Gimori. And boy, Shirak, 3 men sent off last week. 3 men. Gotta love when you finish your match 11 versus 8. Yeah. How's that usually going to go for you? Now, AIK only sits at minus 125 to walk in there and take them down again. Okay. Minus 125 is all you're going to ask, and now, obviously, the Armenian side's going to be without 3 players. Okay. Good luck with that. I think AIK is going to find a way to certainly just ease right by them. So I don't think $25 is really much juice to pay there. Boy, how about Kalju and Vaduz? Hello, goals. Man, 3-1 in the first leg, and it'll probably be 2-1 in the second leg at least. And that tells me that over 2.5 at minus 115 is certainly making the board this week. I'm sorry, man. I mean, you see a 3-1 first leg. Obviously it's pretty clear what you need to do in that second leg, and that over 2.5 and only minus 115. We almost have to expect it at the 2-0. I hope it's not 2-0, but. That's with the road goals and situation that there is there. 2 goals won't even do anything for you. So you really have to find that third goal, to be honest with you. So, I'm taking that over 2.5 at minus 115 with Vaduz and Kalju. Certainly find a way to hit that 3. They should play to a 2-1 match there. Another one. Baitar Jerusalem. They also had a couple of men sent off in their 5-1 beat down at Charleroi and. Again, now Charleroi is only minus 110 on the pick, draw, no bet, handicap line to even get a result of any type. You win your first leg 5-1, and you can't even find a draw on your second leg. Please, especially on that draw, no bet, handicap line. I love that minus 110. What the hell is $10 to pay for a draw, no bet? You know what? If it's 1-1, no harm, no foul. We walk away, and obviously Charleroi is going to move on. Obviously 5-1. I was thinking, you think about playing the total there a little bit, and you think, well, they scored 5 goals in the first leg. Why can't they just destroy them again? And totals are tricky when you have a first leg beat down like that. They could be a little tricky because there's obviously no necessity to go out there and kill anyone, and you don't really expect Jerusalem to go out and score 4 or 5 goals to make up a difference. It's just not going to happen. Legia. Poland took a 1-0 win over the Romanian side, Botasani, and I do believe their defense shouldn't have much trouble keeping Botasani out of the net again this week. So that plus 115 on Legia 3-way That Polish side should have no problem with them on that three-way action, especially a plus 115. That's more than acceptable to me. If the line setters want to practically give it away, well, then I'm practically going to jump on it. So I have absolutely no issue with that play. I mean, plus 115. Baltasani's not going to score. I mean, they're just not going to score. So hopefully it's 2-0 Legia, and that'll be that. Really surprised to see that. Sometimes I always mess this word up. Zeljesnekars? Piktronobet? Zeljesnekars. Yeah, sometimes you can't even pronounce some of these teams sometimes. But, they're listed at home at plus 120 over Hungarian Ferencváros. And I don't think Ferencváros is going to have a chance. The Bosnian Herzegovina club can at least come away with some type of result here. And if the draw comes, again, there's no problem with me. Give me my money back, and I won't lose any sleep at all. So I'm taking the Zeljesnikars. I'm gonna say it nice and slow. Maybe I should try and find a way to put some dashes in between my words here. I mean, if I could spell it out for you, that might make my life that much easier, right? But I like them at home at plus 120, especially on the draw no bet situation there with Bosnia. Here's the Herzegovina side. They're certainly going to fare pretty well this week. Hopefully, it's Thursday, so hopefully we'll see how they come out of that with there. And that's about as good as it's going to get for me for Europa League this week. It's just so many games, and again, I don't want to go crazy here. I mean, I think I gave out about 10, 12 plays, something like that, and that should about wrap it up for that. We already talked about all the stuff that's going on with European stuff, and of course, MLS is in full form this weekend. Sporting Kansas City and Real Salt Lake. They're going to be playing on Friday at the Rio Tinto Stadium. And, Kansas City playing pretty damn well right now. It's amazing to see that team just flying around. I mean, it's I think everybody was concerned when they made the trek back to the west from the east, and that's going pretty well. I mean, talk about winning big games. Another big win last weekend against Montreal at home. And for those of you who aren't aware, again, I'll mention over at Diamond Sportsbook, last 2 weekends, if you've taken every play I've put on the board, you are 14-5 in the last 2 weeks. 7-2 the weekend before, and 7-3 last weekend. And last I heard, when you're 14-5, again, you're making money. So feel free to shoot over there and see all my MLS previews for the year. You can always check my EJ the Rainmaker site over on Twitter, and usually I throw out the link to all the previews that week, and I certainly hope people are taking advantage of that. It's pretty cool. I got the news today, not today, I think it was yesterday. That they told me that the soccer previews over at Diamond Sportsbook are doing the best on the site right now. I wonder why. Almost like there's some guy over there giving out previews and making people money. Yeah, you know who that guy is? That'd be me. Take advantage of it. Don't play around with any of that shit, because the last thing you need to do is be sitting there going, damn it, why didn't I play that guy's stuff? He's pretty damn good. Yeah, you think? And so what else we have this weekend? Toronto and Columbus? It's interesting. Obviously, Altidore decided to, it's tough to say if Altidore decided to leave the team or if Jurgen Clemson decided to go in another direction. He was concerned about the hamstring. I saw so many different reports about what that was about. I mean, a lot of people were saying Altidore just left. He was pretty disgruntled about the playing time he was getting. He started the first 2 games in the Gold Cup, and then got substituted for and didn't even appear in the third game. And there's some outlets saying that's enough. If you're not going to put me out there, what the hell am I here for? And then, of course, on the other side, Jurgen Klinsmann's trying to make light of it, saying that it was his decision to let Altidore and leave him off. Let Altidore. You like that? You like that? Altidore. Yeah. It's pretty good, man. I figured out a nice little play on words there. But, it's so Toronto, obviously, they have their Giovinco and him back, and, of course, Bradley's still with the team playing, of course, with the captain armband around his arm. And U.S. team's doing pretty good. Of course, they're going to play, I think they played Jamaica tonight, if I recall, and pretty strongly favored, of course. I think they're minus 200, something pretty stupid over Jamaica, which, of course, they're going to get by them. I like that over. Something tells me the USA is going to have a field day with that team today. But that game's actually pretty soon. I think the next couple hours. And last I heard, I think it was 6 o'clock p.m. in the local time, depending if you're on the East Coast or not. And, of course, Panama and Mexico will be playing later tonight as well. And, boy, that Panamanian team, again, is getting disrespected. I mean, I understand why Mexico's favored. They have a pretty good team. But Panama, +1, I actually saw the +1 was like -120 or something like that early in the week. And I think it's come down now. I think I saw it was like a -135 or something like that as the week has progressed. And I get why. I mean, I understand why people would play the Panama +1. Why wouldn't you? I certainly don't think Mexico is going to be able to destroy Panama because no one has. I mean, it's just, man. But, yeah, I like that USA-Jamaica over tonight. Something tells me there are going to be a handful of goals there. And so we'll see what happens. Of course, the Gold Cup is getting down to the nitty-gritty now. And we all know that USA certainly wants to take that thing and move right into the Champions League and all that kind of stuff that goes on with that. And, you know, they haven't lost a Gold Cup match in how long, so it's playing pretty well. I can't believe they got that draw the way they got that draw last time they played in the group stage. It was amazing that they found a way to come up with a 1-1 result there. But, yeah, that Panama +1, too, if you can get it at a decent price, I certainly wouldn't mind seeing somebody suggest that. But let's get back to MLS here. Seattle and Montreal, that's interesting, too. Of course, we know that Martins and Dempsey are still both out. Davis is still out for Seattle as well. And that things have not gone well ever since that suspension that Dempsey took in the U.S. Cup. Of course, Obafemi Martins went down in the same game at the end of the regulation time, and he hasn't been back since. And he's not expected back for a couple of weeks. Of course, Dempsey's with the U.S. team, and Davis is with the team. Marco Papa is set to make his appearance, and I think he played last week a little bit, but looks like he'll be back in the starting role. And Seattle team's struggling, boy. They were in first place a few weeks ago, and not so much anymore. I mean, it's cool to see that Western Conference. How impressed is everybody with the Western Conference? I mean, we're talking 6 teams within 3 points of each other. With Dallas in first place now, and Dallas is playing outrageous football, or soccer, or whatever you want to call it, whatever the hell Dallas is doing. They're playing some serious football right now. 4 straight wins. Playing great. I mean, you have to argue that they're playing the best soccer in all of MLS right now. Maybe with the Galaxy right behind them playing pretty well. And, of course, the Galaxy still can't find a way to win on the road. Chicago still can't find a way to win on the road. It's amazing that Columbus finally got their first win on the road a couple of weeks ago against Chicago in a Wednesday game. And Columbus looks good again. They're right behind DC United. They closed that gap to 5 points. If you recall, DC United was up by like 11 or 14 points at one point. And now the lead's only 5, and the New York Red Bulls are only right 1 point behind Columbus. So that Eastern Conference is certainly tightening up. And, Montreal actually kind of has a leg up on everybody. They have 2 or 3 matches in hand. They've only played 17 matches so far. So, because of the early start and with the Canadian Championships and Champions League, they really didn't get their season started. I think they played maybe 3 or 4 games and it took about a month and a half, or I think it was 32 days or something like that in between matches for Montreal. So it's good to see them getting back. Of course, they took a pretty bad loss this weekend, 2-1, and they're struggling. But again, that East, everything, all the playoff battles are tightening up across the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference, and. But this Western Conference battle is certainly impressive. Kansas City's playing phenomenal right now. I mean, boy, 18 goals allowed this year? Really? I mean, look at Philadelphia. They've almost given up twice that. That's how well you can tell Kansas City's playing. I mean, they're just playing phenomenal football. Dom Dwyer and all those guys are playing great. And Seattle and Portland are right there, 32 points hanging out. And that battle for the Cascadia Cup is certainly getting interesting, too, with Vancouver, Portland, and Seattle. Of course, Portland and Vancouver finished their 3-game set with a 1-1 draw last weekend, and that was nice for me. Of course, I took Vancouver in the +half handicap. I was pretty happy to see that they found a way to hang out with Portland and come back after they got down 1-0, and that was great. Of course, Real Salt Lake's kind of falling apart a little bit. San Jose's certainly falling apart without Wondolowski around. I mean, it's 3 straight losses, not playing well. It's amazing how much of an influence he's had on this team. Even at home, San Jose just cannot seem to get a result and falling back pretty far. 25 points when you're in the Western Conference really isn't going to cut it. Of course, Houston and Colorado, they're at 24 points apiece. It's amazing to think that the 2 last place teams with Colorado and Houston in the Western Conference would be in the thick of the playoff hunt in the Eastern Conference. I love that kind of stuff. Of course, it happens in the NFL and baseball and all those kind of sports as well. It's just you see different conferences just working their way out. And boy, that Portland club, they're struggling a little bit right now. But Seattle, like I mentioned, Seattle is just in a ton of trouble. I don't know how they're going to get out of that funk they're in without those three guys in their roster. New England's going to be taking on Chicago. It's good to see New England get off the schneid a little bit. They've been playing terrible lately as well. And that Portland-Dallas match, that's going to be interesting. Dallas playing so well, as we mentioned. Portland kind of struggling a little bit. That defense that they hang their hat on hasn't exactly played all that well recently. They got torched for a few goals a couple of weeks ago, and it's just, when you're hanging your head on your defense, you better make sure you back it up, because it's MLS is certainly a high-scoring league. There's goals all over the place. And LA Galaxy are going to be facing Houston to wrap up the 25th matches on Saturday, and we have a few more on Sunday with Orlando City headed to New York City, Philadelphia taking on DC United, and San Jose headed to Vancouver. And that's amazing to see Vancouver's only about minus 130 so out of the gate. And what's San Jose going to do? What are they going to do in Vancouver? It's just without Wondolowski, that team cannot play any soccer. And I'll be giving out all my predictions, of course, over the course of the week. It's a little bit early to be giving out those predictions right now because it's only Wednesday, and usually I do my previews a day or two before, because I want all the information I can get before I start throwing plays around. And of course, North American Soccer League. We had a great show today on Into the Cosmos. Yeah, we had on High Golf Christian and Greg Greg Janicki from Indy 11, and he was fantastic too. Greg's a talker, and he was cool. It was fun to have them both on the show. I thought it was one of our better shows of the year, actually. And it's fun, it's cool when you talk to some of these guys. I mean, Hagop Christian, you come from Armenia. I mean, he was born in the United States, but his family's completely Armenian, and it's cool when you get to interview all these guys over the course. We've interviewed, it's week 15. I've interviewed over 35 people for the Into the Cosmos podcast this year, and it's just so cool. All the different dialects, all the diversity of all these players who come from, even third world countries in some cases. I mean, you really, it's shocking sometimes to see how these guys actually made it to the United States to make a career for themselves. I mean, it's amazing. That's one of the best parts about it being a podcaster for some of these things. You get to talk to people that you just really would never get otherwise have a chance to talk to, and I love that kind of stuff. We ask everybody to give a cool kid story too, and that's the fun part of it for me. It's cool when you hear about someone, what happened to them when they were 6 and 10, and there's something that might have happened that changed their whole entire attitude about being a professional soccer player, and it's certainly cool. I wish I could get more European interviews. It'd be so much fun to talk to some of the Europeans about what they go through. Because obviously soccer in Europe, we'll call it football, and boy, that's a lifestyle there. And obviously it isn't the case, but in the United States, not quite yet, but certainly getting there, and it's cool to see. And we always ask these guys about the differential between the USL, the USPDL, and all these lower tier leagues taking on. I mean, we saw in the U.S. Cup this year, we saw so many teams from the third division taking on MLS teams and giving them all they could handle. I mean, I think we saw 3 or 5 different matches with MLS teams taking on teams from the third level and struggling. Extra time all over the place, penalty kicks here and there. So how far off is the MLS from some of these third tiers? They're not that far apart. Of course, the North American Soccer League, right in between. It's amazing the Cosmos were the only team that actually got to the Sweet 16 out of the North American Soccer League. They all kind of struggled in that round of 32, and it's amazing. But all right, let's get out of here. It's pretty cool. We have hopefully you got some plays out there for Europa League this weekend. Of course, always check my EJ the Rainmaker Twitter feed if you ever want to get some plays during the week from MLS, and I throw out North American Soccer League. Well, and I'm certainly excited about all the European leagues getting started here. Of course, I'll be doing all the previews for each week for every game around those 4 European leagues we discussed. Of course, the Coppa Italia begins here, like I mentioned, August 2nd. I'll certainly be playing those first-round games because I love those lower tiers. I followed Italian football since I was 1983. I think I was, 15, 14. And I've always followed all those leagues, way before the internet was around, way before any of this digital age came to be. And I love Italian football. But All right, let's get out of here, people. Again, I hope everybody enjoyed the show this week. I thank everybody who takes the time to listen to these shows. I certainly enjoy the hell out of them. And, hopefully we'll catch you here next time on the Get More Sports World Tour Soccer podcast every Wednesday. And have a good week, everybody. We'll catch you next time. Of course, we're going to leave you with the sound of a vuvuzela.